Where is everyone?
We're already on the train.
I'll find my way there. Greetings. I need to meet up with the Vodafone Express. Can you help?
Coffee. Vodafone Express. Let's go there.
All aboard the Vodafone Express. Bring your number to Vodafone and enjoy the best network quality, best value offers, exciting services, and so much more. Visit any Vodafone shop or authorized agent with a valid ID to switch now.
Vodafone, power to you.
Big Brother is always watching the housemates. Super excited about the new season of Big Brother. And you can too. Drama, drama, drama with your Nokia 5330. Got to love the Nokia 5330. You can watch what's going on in the Big Brother house literally anywhere with DSTV mobile coverage. Convenient, easy, and TV too. Go to the website to find out how you can get DSTV mobile. You can watch TV anywhere. And a list of other compatible phones. DSTV mobile in your pocket TV works.
Xtra is brought to you by Air Namibia, carrying the spirit of Namibia.
Flies non-stop to Windhoek and beyond in the evenings, 6 times a week, effective 1st October 2011. Air Namibia, winner of the Feather Awards. We cover Southern Africa extensively. Spend less than 1 hour in transit through Windhoek to your final destination without a transit visa. Cape Town, Johannesburg, Luanda, Lusaka, Harare, Victoria Falls, Gaborone, Frankfurt, Walvis Bay, Ondangwa, Katima, Mililo, Rundu, Oranjemond, Luderitz. Locate Air Namibia on the first floor of the Silver Star Towers, Airport City, Accra. Call us on 0302-766-602 or 766-660 or 020-222-0595. Enroll in our frequent flyer program and enjoy discounts on tickets, access to business class lounges, upgrades to business class and excess baggage allowance. Book your flights online, airnamibia.com.na or contact your travel agent. Air Namibia, carrying the spirit of Namibia.
Kaiserslautern entertained perennial title contenders Bayern Munich on Saturday, and the visitors applied all the pressure in the opening half, creating the majority of the opportunities. The pressure would eventually tell as Rodney handled in the area. Mario Gomez made no mistake from the spot, and Bayern changed sides, a goal to the good. The visitors doubled their advantage 10 minutes after the break, Rodney again conceding the penalty. Gomez would miss, but made no mistake with the rebound. With a little more than 20 minutes to play, Bayern with 3 clear, and it was that man Mario Gomez on hand to pick up his 3rd for the day. It went from bad to worse for Kaiserslautern as they had Ilisevic sent off before the final whistle. A comfortable day at the office for Bayern Munich as they walk away with 3 league points thanks to the 3-0 win.
Now, and in Germany, Hanover missed the chance to head the Bundesliga for the first time since 1969 after a 1-1 home draw with Mainz. The visitors made a dream start when Tunisian international Sami Alagai rounded off some good build-up play with a close-range finish after just 2 minutes. But Hanover, looking tired after the Europa League exertions in midweek, equalised after half an hour. Mohamed Abdullawa getting on the end of Constantin Rauch's pinpoint cross for his third goal of the season to maintain the home side's unbeaten start. In Germany, Raul showed that he hasn't lost his touch as he guided Schalke to a win over Borussia Mönchengladbach in Gelsenkirchen. The hosts came close to opening the scoring, only for Joel Matip's 10th minute effort to be cleared off the line. Into the second half, and the 34-year-old Raul was, as he has been throughout his career, in the right place at the right time to score. 1-0 it finished. Schalke move up to second in the league, behind Bayern Munich. French Ligue 1, Lille and Marseille served up what is now becoming their customary goal fest. 15 minutes in, Lille's Moussa Sow put the champions 1 to the good. The two teams have been averaging around 5 goals a game since last year, and 2 goals in quick succession from Marseille's Mathieu Valbuena around the hour mark had the visitors scenting their first win of the season. After Aurelien Chedu levelled things up before Sow got his second, and what proved to be the winner from the penalty spot. 3-2 to Lille, the final score. Paris Saint-Germain coach Antoine Kombare lives to fight another day after his side came from behind to win at Toulouse. Etienne Capoue had given the hosts the first half lead before Kevin Gamero levelled when PSG when Javier Pastore, making his first start for the club, put the striker clear. Pastore was central to the fight back, setting up Mevlut Erding a minute from the end and then playing a part in Jerry Menez's injury time strike that sealed the 3-1 victory. PSG now up to third in the table.
Meanwhile, in the Dutch league, Dries Martens led PSV Eindhoven to victory against the Rotterdam side Excelsior. Martens opened the scoring on 30 minutes with a well-placed free kick. Excelsior were soon on level terms, but then Swedish striker Ola Toivonen restored PSV's advantage before Mertens doubled his tally for the afternoon to make it 3-1, that on 49 minutes. The Belgian international then completed his hat-trick with his 6th of the season as PSV put the game to bed with 40 minutes still to play. That made it 4-1. They weren't finished there. Jermaine Lens made it 5 on 71 minutes before Toivonen completed the rout with 11 minutes still to play. Fittingly, it was Mertens with the assist to round off an excellent day for the former Utrecht man. 6-1, the final score.
Hello, good morning and welcome to your Sports Extra. You've been covering the stories from the other leagues as we promised yesterday. The German Bundesliga, the French Ligue 1 and the Dutch League. We've all covered that today. Remember, the show is kindly brought to you by Air Namibia, carrying the spirit of Namibia. And also proud to be associated with the show is DSTV Super Sports, so much more. I hope you've been enjoying the show so far. Today's Tuesday and my name is Nuti Fafata. You can join us on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/sports.extra.ga. Just before we go for our second commercial break, we will go to our final story of the first segment, and that is in the Russian league. Like we said yesterday, the £345,000 is already paying off as Samoleto scored a late equalizer for Axin to keep them 1-1 in a particular game. We've got all the highlights from the other Russian games because there was a game between Spartak Moscow and Lokomotiv Moscow. It was a big derby. We've got the highlights right here on your Sports Extra. Enjoy.
The big game in Russia was in the capital as Spartak took on CSKA in the Moscow derby. Spartak were eliminated from the Europa League midweek but bounced back from that disappointment to open the scoring through Brazilian striker Wellington on the stroke of half-time. The lead, though, would last just 6 minutes of the second half before Ivory Coast striker Seydou Doumbia took advantage of some defensive uncertainty to level the score. And with 21 minutes to go, CSKA got their noses in front. Doumbia turned provider, and Manchester United reject Zoran Tosic did the rest. Spartak dug in and were rewarded 15 minutes from time when summer signing Emmanuel Emenike got the equaliser. 2-2 the final score.
Then it's St. Petersburg were the beneficiaries of CSKA's drop points as they thrust Krasnodar 5-0 to go top of the table on goal difference. The hosts took the lead midway through the first half. Roman Shirkov won the ball in midfield before feeding Miguel Dani, and the Portuguese international had time to pick up Alexander Kershikov with a perfect cross, the striker volleying in with aplomb. 6 minutes later, and both Zenit and Kershikov had doubled their tally. Dani was once again the provider for the Russian international, who finished well with his right foot. It stayed 2-0 until 10 minutes from the end, when a penalty gave Kershikov his hat-trick, a 9th of the season. And that started a flurry of late goals. Shirkov scored the 4th on 85 minutes with a superb left-foot volley. Dani deservedly got himself on the score sheet in stoppage time, cheekily lobbing in from 12 yards. It finished 5-0.
Агаларов. Егоров считает, что он не подыгрывал себе рукой. Жирков, это очень опасно. Жирков, прострел, это О! Неужели это СМЛ это О? Да! Первый гол СМЛ это О! У Жирков проход был просто как будто из вот его армейской карьеры. Только наложение футболки другого цвета. 1-1. Но здесь очень много свободы дали Жиркову. Зачем надо было пытаться в такой агрессивный отбор идти? Это все не то, что нужно. Вот сейчас, смотрите, куда бросается с выставленной ногой. Под Жиркова нельзя бросаться. С Жирковым надо аккуратно и четко играть защитнику. Ну и СМЛ ТО. Да, игры рукой, кстати, не было. Совершенно прав Егоров. Ну, это Гацкан, конечно. И затем уже все остальные защитники вынуждены были также пытаться играть.
We're back. We're live here on your Sports Extra, and when we just saw the Russian League as Samoletto's £345,000 beginning to pay off already for Axel. Not only him, but the great provider for that particular goal was Yurin Zerkov, formerly of Chelsea, who's also joined the Russian side. But away from Russia, just before we go for the break, we'll bring you that late highlight game between Barcelona and Villarreal. Barcelona playing their first La Liga game yesterday evening, because they were part of that Super Cup final between them and Porto. So they played yesterday against Villarreal. It was a big game by all standards, but it didn't end up to be a big game because Barcelona were winners 5-0 goals from Cesc Fabregas and Alexis Sanchez and other players. We've got the highlights from that particular game at the Nou Camp.
Barcelona began the defense of their La Liga title on Monday night against Villarreal. With 3 trophies added to their cabinet in the last 2 weeks, Barca took their tally to 12 under the guidance of Pep Guardiola. The coach has fashioned the team into an attacking unit feared by clubs worldwide, and as a result, visiting sides often prepare for an onslaught. To counter that, Guardiola reshuffled his outfit into a 3-4-3 formation in a bid to break down opposition defences. Villarreal's held firm for the opening 24 minutes, but Thiago Alcantara was given too much space and made the Yellow Submarine pay. It was not just Barca's attacking players drawing rich applause from the supporters. Victor Valdez was just as brilliant in goal. Cesc Fabregas has been a revelation since returning to Barca, and he profited from a sublime pass from Lionel Messi to give his side a 2-0 lead at the break. The Catalans were out of the blocks immediately after the restart. Big money buyer Alexis Sanchez has clearly adjusted well to the move from Udinese and netted on his Barca debut. A win by the hosts would not have been complete without at least 1 goal from Messi. The Argentine marksman provided 2 in the space of 23 minutes, assisted first by Andres Iniesta and then by Thiago. The comprehensive 5-0 rout gets Barcelona off to a flying start in their La Liga campaign. Bitter rivals Real Madrid were just as impressive in thumping Real Zaragoza 6-0. Cristiano Ronaldo netted a hat-trick as he and Messi enter what looks like another 2-horse race for top marksman honours in the league this season.
as they say, my producer just let me know that when you talk about La Liga, it is Barcelona and Real Madrid and the others. So obviously, Real Madrid winning 6-0 on Sunday and Barcelona winning 5-0 yesterday. It was good to notice that Ghanaian international Mubarak Wakaso also played for Villarreal yesterday evening. He came in the 75th minute into that midfield. Unfortunately, they lost 5-0. I'm sure definitely any midfielder will find the opposition of Xavi Hernandez, Iniesta, and Sergio Busquets as a difficult one to play with. So it's not so exactly new to find him losing that particular game 5-0. We'll go for a second commercial break. When we come back, there's a lot more here on your Sports Extra.
Vodafone understands that everyone has different uses of the internet. That's why we have 3 separate packages just for you to choose from: the browser, the streamer, and the downloader. With the browser package, you can chat with friends online and surf the web for days. The streamer package lets you surf as well as stream videos, music, and more. And the downloader package allows you to surf, download music, movies, ebooks, and more. No matter what your surfing preferences are, you can trust Vodafone to provide a package just for you. Visit a Vodafone shop near you now for a package.
Vodafone, power to you.
We're live back here on your Sports Extra. Is kindly brought to you by Air Namibia, carrying the spirit of Namibia, and also proud to be associated with the show is DSTV Super Sports, so much more. Also, your World of Champions is DSTV Super Sports. But I will tell you one thing for Air Namibia, effective from 1st October, the routes are different and they will be flying to other countries in Africa apart from Windhoek and also Johannesburg. The likes of Lusaka, Gaborone will all be part of that particular route now, and effective 1st October, they'll be flying 6 times a week. But away from football stories to US Open final, the last major Grand Slam of the tennis season, which kick-started yesterday. There were a few surprises on the cards, but before that, we will show you a preview of that particular tournament, which the big stars have been speaking to the cameras, and we have about that particular story on the US Open.
Now, after Hurricane Irene, the US Open is set to start on Monday. Novak Djokovic leads an all-star cast determined to impose their own will on proceedings. World number 4, Andy Murray, enters the tournament, having won the Cincinnati Masters after Djokovic pulled out injured in the final. And the Scot is raring to go.
I think it's a great tournament. It's a great atmosphere here. New York's a fun city, and the surface is probably my favorite one here. So, you know, I've always enjoyed playing in New York. The last 2 years haven't been so good, so I want to make sure I have a good tournament here, and I've prepared well for it.
Defending champion Rafa Nadal won his 10th Grand Slam at Roland Garros in June, but since reaching the final at Wimbledon, he's struggled on the North American hard courts. Let's hear from him. He says, sometimes I lose in the first round, sometimes in the quarter-final. These things are normal. That's what happens in sport. That's what makes it interesting. I'll do my best, of course, try to play my best level and do well in the tournament. I'm looking at the Grand Slams. It's not because I lost in Montreal and Cincinnati. That's not the end of the world. But I'm just very happy with what I've accomplished. All I need to do now is keep working hard to improve and to be fit for the rest of the season. 5-time champion Federer is sure to be a threat, even if, as he acknowledges, the courts are less suited to his game than in years gone by.
New York seems a bit slower, the surface, actually, I thought, really, when I was playing now. So that's, I don't want to say a slight adjustment, because it's not a crazy difference to previous years, but it is slower, and that's my opinion. So that has maybe an impact on then who you play and how you play them. But other than that, my preparation's been good, and I'm excited for the tournament to start. Clearly, it's always a great event to be part of, and with the success here, obviously, it's nice to be back.
Favourite, though, remains Djokovic. The Serbian has lost only 2 of 59 matches all season. So here's the pick of matches on day one. Federer opens his campaign for a 17th Grand Slam title against Colombia's Santiago Giraldo. While Marty Fish, a real dark horse for the title after really finding his form in the last 2 months, plays Tobias Gamka. Thomas Berdych kicks off his campaign against Frenchman Romain Jouin. On to the women, and Maria Sharapova gets her US Open campaign underway on Monday with a tricky encounter against promising British youngster Heather Watson. The resurgent 2006 champion beat another British talent, Laura Robson, on her way to the Wimbledon final in July, and then continued her good run of form by winning the title in Cincinnati earlier this month.
Well, it was really important to get those matches and to get that win in Cincinnati. I think coming into the US Open, obviously for the confidence and for the tennis after having a long European season when you're on the clay and the grass, to get those matches on hard court was really important. And I felt like I played a few really good matches there.
Now, with two-time champion Kim Kleist is absent through injury and unable to defend her title, Sharapova has been given the tag of favourite at Flushing Meadows.
Well, I feel like my level and my tennis has improved this year, and unlike last year, it's a bit more consistent. That's for sure. And yeah, I feel like I'm a better player on the court. I've definitely improved, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the year. Health is obviously the most important thing. Still got a lot of tournaments ahead of us. Obviously, the US Open, the most important one.
Born in Russia, but now a Miami resident, Sharapova can expect the New York crowd to get behind her in the Arthur Ashe Stadium as she chases a second US crown. While the woman who beat Sharapova at SW19 is also in opening day action in the Arthur Ashe Stadium, Petra Kvitova kicks things off on the main court against Romania's Alexandra Dugaru. Meanwhile, Venus Williams, who's unseeded in this tournament, faces the Russian world number 91 Vesna Dolons in the ninth session.
You're back on your Sports Extra and back to football, and the news is that the Arsenal administration, the Arsenal management has issued a statement that they will be rewarding their fans that travelled all the way to Old Trafford where they were mauled, where they were trashed 8 goals to 2. Because of that, they say it's one of the darkest moments in the history of the club. So all those fans who travelled to Old Trafford will be given a season away ticket of their choice, depending on where they want to go and watch a game. That's what it means. That Arsenal will offer those fans an opportunity to watch any away game of their choice because of what happened against Manchester United. We've got that particular story.
While football fans from France were practicing their ball skills outside the Emirates, Arsenal supporters were still coming to terms with the club's biggest defeat in more than 100 years. With only 3 matches played, Arsenal are 8 points behind leaders Manchester United, and according to 2 former players, their hope of winning the title has gone already.
Very early in the season, but I'd have to say it is, because obviously Man City have got 9 points as well. Chelsea are up there. Liverpool look like they're on the ascendancy. If you was chasing one team, and it sounds ridiculous to say chasing a team after 3 games in the season, then you might be able to claw that back. But when you're chasing 4, it's going to be very, very difficult. Arsenal's target now is to make sure that they get in the top 4.
Can Arsenal win the title?
On the performances I've seen so far, you'd have to say no. I mean, they're not title contenders. I still think they can get into the top 4, but they're going to have to play a lot better than they have.
Both Robson and Groves believe Wenger is still the right man for the job, and although there have been some calls for him to go, it would seem the majority of fans still back him, but want him to take action.
I think he's got to spend some big money now to sort them out, I mean, it's just not good enough.
I don't think there's anyone that could do as good a job as him. But he needs to change his attitude and he needs to spend some money.
Maybe now this is the time that he's got to think, yeah, we've got to spend. And he will, by Wednesday, I hope.
Wenger now finds himself under more pressure than ever to strengthen. The manner in which they were exposed by Manchester United particularly underlined their defensive frailties. Do you like the look of Gary Cahill? Would he fit in here? Would he be the answer for Arsenal?
Yeah, I think he would. He'd give the team good balance, because Vermaelen plays on the left-hand side. Gary Cahill can play on the right-hand side. He's 25, he's the right age, he's improved every season. Obviously coming from Aston Villa to Bolton, got himself in the England squad. He's very, very good technically, and he attacks the ball. That's what Arsenal need, and they lacked yesterday at least 2 centre-halves who were prepared to go and attack the ball.
From my preference, it would be Gary Cahill. I think he's still young enough to learn. He's good in the air, he's quite quick, he's not bad on the ball, and I think he's a player that wants to learn. He's got a good character.
And having suffered at Old Trafford, Arsenal will offer fans who went a free ticket for another away league match.
So those fans who travelled with the Arsenal team to Old Trafford, Manchester, are rewarded after that thrashing at the hands of Manchester United. 8-2 ended on Sunday afternoon, but still staying in Manchester, but not with football. Justin Button, the 2009 Formula One Championship winner, was in Manchester to exhibit some of his skills over the weekend, but after losing that Belgian Grand Prix. But also away from Manchester, and we're going straight to the World Athletics Championship, where there were a couple of results in the shock of the tournament followed after the Usain Bolt disqualification in that grand finale. Was the fact that the Cuban 110 meters hurdles winner was also disqualified after video footage showed that he touched the Chinese opposition as well. And the other stories that have come out of the tournament in Daegu. So we've got all the highlights from the World Athletics Championship.
Defending champion Keron Clement knew he faced a tough heat in the men's 400-meter hurdles at the Athletics World Championships in Daegu. The American got his stride pattern all wrong, allowing South African contender Louis Jacob van Zyl to break the tape. Clement scraping through in fourth behind former double champion Felix Sanchez. The Dominican turns 34 tomorrow. Double Olympic champion Angelo Taylor is also in the field in Daegu. The 32-year-old amazingly gunning for a first World Championship medal in this event, although he's twice taken gold in the 4x400-meter relay. The American with devastating foot speed but suspect technique over the holes, especially when hemmed in on the inside lanes. That in sharp contrast to Javier Coulson, the Puerto Rican, motoring past the cruising Taylor down the home straight. Taylor, though, says he's feeling good for a run at the title at long last. So Van Zyl, the fastest man in the opening round, but with the likes of Clement and Taylor obviously not running at full tilt, it looks like Thursday's final is going to be very difficult to predict indeed. Now the men's 3,000-metre steeplechase is also underway, with defending champion Ezekiel Kemboi looking very smooth as he won his heat with the fastest time of the day. The Kenyan, who also claimed gold at the 2004 Olympics and had bagged silver at the previous 3 World Championships before Berlin, cruising around in 8 minutes 10.93 seconds to win a heat that also included defending bronze medalist Boubadella Tari of France. Fellow Kenyan Richard Kipkembe Mutelong, a silver medalist 2 years ago, is also safely through to Thursday's final. Peter Malachowski headed the field in qualification for the final of the men's discus after flinging his final throw out to 65.48 metres. The Pole looking to improve on his silver from 2 years ago, although German defending champion Robert Harting may have something to say about that after qualifying in 5th place. Iran's Esen Haddadi also looking good ahead of tomorrow's final. The 4-time Asian champion just 27 centimetres back in 2nd place as he looks to claim a first global medal in the event.
LJ Van Zyl holds the fastest time of 2011 in the 400-meter hurdles. He too had no problem progressing from his heat. A late burst saw him finish first ahead of Jamaica's Isa Phillips. The semi-finals take place on Tuesday with a final on Thursday. Iran advanced from her 400-meter hurdles heat with a personal best time of 56.13 seconds. She finished third behind Jamaica's Melanie Walker and Russia's Natalia Antiuk, who both finished a full 1.27 seconds in front of the South African.
Onto the women's 400-meter hurdles, with defending champion Melanie Walker looking unimpressed despite clocking the fastest time of the opening round. The Jamaican stopped the clock at 54.86 seconds after facing a battle just to win her heat. Meanwhile, her Jamaican compatriot Khalees Spencer, the fastest woman in the world this year, had a comfortable run in her heat, a time of 54.93, enough to install these two as favourites for the title. The final is coming up in 3 days' time.
Day 3 of the IAAF World Championship saw South African Oscar Pistorius line up in the semi-finals of the men's 400 metres. The Blade Runner, who is the first amputee athlete to race in the championship, got off to a slow start and wasn't able to meet the pace set by Jamaican champion Jermaine Gonzalez, who marched into the final with a time of 44.99 seconds. 24-year-old Pistorius, meanwhile, could only manage 46.19 seconds and a distant 8th in the 3rd semi-final. But the performance of the day belonged to Commonwealth champion Amantle Moncho, who held her own down the home straight to claim the 400-meter gold and Botswana's first ever medal at a championship ahead of Alison Felix of the United States of America.
Will the strength of Moncho endure this last part of the race?
Alison Felix is coming back at us slowly. Moncho is holding on. Felix is coming, but I think Moncho's got it, or is she? It's close. I think she does get it. Alison Felix in second, and Chapinskaya, I think, gets the bronze medal. And it was given to Moncho in the end. What a match down that home straight.
In other action, Nigeria's Blessing Okobara came fifth in a quick 100-meter dash, where only 0.02 of a second separated the top 4 women. America's Carmelita Jetta took the gold with a winning sprint of 10.9 seconds. Veronica Campbell-Brown of Jamaica took the silver, with Kellyanne Baptiste of Trinidad and Tobago claiming the bronze.
A lot happening in the World Athletics Championship in Daegu, and I'm sure a lot of people can't wait on Friday as Usain takes on the tracks again for that defense of his 200 meters title. But also good to see Oscar Pistorius couldn't make it to the grand finale, but also making an impact, the first amputee, fully disabled person to run with able people in that particular tournament. So we'll still keep you updated on all actions happening at the World Athletics Championship. But our next story is in Germany, as the NBA's most valuable player who won the title with Dallas Mavericks last season, and also the man who has been in the NBA for a long time, finally rewarded with the NBA's most valuable player, has also been rewarded by the German Federation, also making him rewarding with the topmost award of Germany for his immense contribution to the sports. We've got a story on David Nowitzki.
To the 33-year-old in an official ceremony at the presidential palace in Berlin, with current President Christian Wulff glowing with his praise for the Dallas Mavericks power forward.
Wenn jemand die sportlich höchsten Weihen erreicht
He says, when someone has climbed to sport's greatest heights, and if I may say so, is also financially independent, but still manages to stay grounded as a person, then he becomes on many levels a role model. And that's really what the Silver Laurel stands for.
als höchste Auszeichnung für den deutschen Sport eine Auszeichnung sein.
Meanwhile, Nowitzki was his usual humble self and was quick to point out some of the previous recipients, former idols and giants of world sport.
Es ist mir eine Riesenehre, heute hier zu sein und auch
It's a great honor to be here today and to receive the Silver Bay Laurel Leaf. I know, of course, that many athletes before me have received the award, many of them idols of mine like Boris Becker, Steffi Graf, Franz Beckenbauer. So this is a very special day for me, and of course I'm pleased that my friends and family are here to share it with me. Nowitzki became the first European-born player to win the NBA's Most Valuable Player award earlier this year after leading the Mavericks to their first ever NBA championship.
He was actually rewarded by the German government. That is the topmost award in sports in Germany, and you can, in that particular picture, you hear him mention the other likes who have won that particular award: Boris Becker, Steffi Graf, and Franz Beckenbauer. Those are legends by all standards, and obviously he's good to have joined that particular class. But we'll move away from basketball and move into Indianapolis in terms of the American version of the MotoGP, and Casey Stoner was a winner in that particular race. We've got the highlights from that race.
Casey Stoner started the Indianapolis MotoGP in pole position after destroying the track record in Saturday qualifying. The Australian was beaten off the line by teammate Dani Pedrosa and dropped behind Jorge Lorenzo after running wide at turn 2 on the opening lap. But he clawed his way back, passing Lorenzo's Yamaha on lap 2. He pulled off an identical move on Pedrosa to hit the front with 22 laps to go. He was untroubled from there on in as he coasted to a comfortable win. It was Stoner's 7th victory of the year and the 30th of his career. Pedrosa, last year's winner at the Brickyard, settled for second, crossing nearly 5 seconds back, while American Ben Spieth gave the home crowd something to cheer about, taking third. With a 10th consecutive podium finish, Stoner extended his lead at the top of the standings over Spain's reigning world champion Lorenzo to 44 points with 6 rounds remaining. Marc Marquez won the Moto2 race ahead of Pol Espargaro. With the victory, he closed the gap on championship leader Stefan Bradl to just 28 points. Aprilia completed a clean sweep in the 1-2-5s. Nicolas Terol crossed the line almost 4 seconds ahead of Maverick Vinales to extend his lead in the riders' standings to 26 points.
Not winning that particular Grand Prix, but remember this show is brought to you by Air Namibia, carrying the spirit of Namibia, and also proud to be associated with the show is DSTV Super Sport. So much more. You can join us on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/sports.extra.gh. You can join that particular community discussing all the issues, the reasons why Arsenal should keep Arsene Wenger, why they were trashed by Manchester United, Usain Bolt's disqualification. There are a lot of people out there you can do your discussions with, do your interesting arguments with. So you join our Facebook page and be part of it. We'll go for our last commercial break. When we come back, we'll have a lot more from the transfer market and also other stuff in the world of sports. We'll be back in a moment.
Namibia flies non-stop to Windhoek and beyond in the evenings 6 times a week, effective 1st October 2011. Air Namibia, winner of the Feather Awards. We cover Southern Africa extensively. Spend less than 1 hour in transit through Windhoek to your final destination without a transit visa. Cape Town, Johannesburg, Luanda, Lusaka, Harare, Victoria Falls, Gaborone, Frankfurt, Walvis Bay, Ondangwa, Katima, Mililo, Rundu, Oranjemond, Luderitz. Locate Air Namibia on the first floor of the Silver Star Towers, Airport City, Accra. Call us on 0302 766 602 or 766 660 or 020 222 0595. Enroll in our frequent flyer program and enjoy discounts on tickets, access to business class lounges, upgrades to business class and excess baggage allowance. Book your flights online, airnamibia.com.na or contact your travel agent. Air Namibia, carrying the spirit of Namibia.
We're live here on TV3. It is your Sports Extra, is your standard for sports news. Every morning we bring you updates on all the sporting activities across the globe. There's a lot happening in Daegu in South Korea. There's also a lot happening in the transfer market in Europe as it comes to a close. We promise you that from today, tomorrow, Thursday, we make sure we bring you all the news, the breaking news in the transfer market. Remember, the transfer market ends tomorrow night. So on Thursday morning right here, there'll be all the breaking stories on which players have moved to various club. It will be right here on your Sports Extra. We'll make sure we'll bring you updates on every single player's move. We'll be right here on your Sports Extra. So immediately we'll go straight into the transfer market and I will bring you the first piece of news. If you're a fan of Roque Santa Cruz, the Paraguayan international, he has finally secured a loan deal away from Manchester City. To Real Betis, Spanish side, Real Betis have secured the services of out-of-favor Manchester City striker Roque Santa Cruz on a season-long loan deal. The 30-year-old Paraguayan international moved to East London in June 2009 from Blackburn Rovers, but has failed to impress in Manchester, falling down the pecking order in favor of Roberto Mancini's big money acquisitions. Remember, Roque Santa Cruz was brought in by the then coach Mark Hughes, but unfortunately he has fallen down the pecking order in that particular team. Remember, there's a team that is bankrolled and it has a lot of money and it spent quite a lot of money in the last couple of months. The likes of Sergio Aguero, Carlos Tevez, Mario Balotelli, Edin Dzeko, the names go on and on. So Roque Santa Cruz, obviously not your number one striker at Manchester City, and especially if he's a player who wants to have playing time, it's a good move to Real Betis. But again, on Manchester City, Sergio Aguero has come out to speak on Carlos Tevez' move away from City, even though yet 2 days ago Roberto Mancini was in the media talking about the fact that Carlos Tevez might just be staying because his family has moved to Manchester City. It's still not exactly clear whether Carlos Tevez will be ready to be warming the bench as and when to have the opportunity to play, because you have the likes of Edin Dzeko and also Sergio Aguero himself being starters these days. So obviously there's still not clear-cut expectations on whether Carlos Tevez will be staying at the club. So Sergio Aguero was in the media yesterday speaking on Tevez staying.
We've spent a lot of time together, obviously, and we talk about everything. I know he's a bit frustrated, but as we all know, it's up to the coach to decide who plays and who doesn't. I'm sure we'll both have a chance here at City and with Argentina. I hope he stays, and we get to play many games together. But it's up to Roberto Mancini to make that decision.
Guerrero has scored 3 goals already in the Premier League, but he says he hasn't got used to the speed of English football yet.
I've been shocked by the pace of the Premier League. It's been a real surprise, and I'll have to adapt to it quickly. In Spain, the game is much more stop-start, and here it's the opposite. It's very fast, very pacey, but very, very exciting. I've been welcomed very much by my teammates, and I hope I can repay that trust which everyone has put in me.
He's a tenacious player, you know, a ball winner, you know, a competitor. So you know, it's something that we look forward to having in the team.
Do you think that Modric should leave?
To be honest, it's been ongoing for the whole of the summer. You know, it's probably last week or so. You know, as players, you know, we want him to obviously stay. He's a great lad, but you know, as I say, the sooner it's done, either way, the better.
Do you think that it's been unsettling for you guys, the fact that obviously there's been all this transfer talk now for so long?
I don't think it helps at the end of the day. You know, we had this issue before with Berbatov, and you know, it's a similar start for us. You know, we didn't start the season too well, so you know, I don't think it helps in any way. But as players, you know, you just try and get on and do the job as best you can.
Of course, another one of those is Crouch. Do you think he'll stay?
You know, it's, again, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, as I say, we just as players, we just want the window to close now, so we can get on with the squad that we've got and get on with business really.
If there's any other transfer saga apart from Carlos Tevez transfer saga that is protracted all through the transfer season, it's got to be Luka Modric's possible move to Chelsea, and Lily King, the captain of Tottenham, speaking on that particular issue. For players, it's a lot more difficult, and as Hireda mentioned yesterday, it's been quite a difficult pre-season for them because they've had too many players in the rumour mill, possible move out of White Hart Lane. But still a lot more on the transfer market. A lot is happening between now and 31st. That is 2 days from now. A lot of deals that you've had in the rumour mill for a long while will be sealed between now and 31st. So obviously, like I said, Sports Xtra will make sure they update you on every single move by players into different clubs. So we'll move straight into the transfer market. Benayoun, Arsenal have asked about the availability of Yusuf Benayoun following the departures of captain Cesc Fabregas and Sami Nasri. Arsenal boss Arsene Wenger will be looking to add a playmaker to his ranks, and Sunday's 8-2 thrashing at Manchester United may have encouraged the Frenchman to move for Benayoun, a player already accustomed to the Premier League, and I'm sure that is what Arsenal's Arsene Wenger will be looking out for in times like this. The strange one is that Solomon Kalou has been linked to a move from Chelsea. There's interest coming from Lille. The French club are considering a last-minute move for the Ivorian star, who has dropped down the pecking order at the Premier League club Chelsea. League One champions are believed to be in the market for an attacking reinforcement after being rebuffed in their chase of Monaco's Park Chung-Young, who made a U-turn of his decision to move to the Stade Lille Metropole to link up with Arsenal. And the big news is the one we'll obviously be bringing to you tomorrow morning. And the news is that Diego Forlan, who was voted the best player at the last World Cup, is to leave La Liga club Atletico Madrid after 4 seasons and will join the Serie A side Inter Milan. The Uruguayan striker announced yesterday. Farewells are already hard, always hard, because it's been 4 years plus the 3 at Villarreal, and now I will be leaving behind people's kindness, which I will never forget, Forlan said at a news conference at the Spanish capital yesterday. Arsenal obviously are the big men in the market because a lot of people are looking for Arsene Wenger signing new players. Arsenal are also poised to announce the signing of Santos, with Wenger having yesterday sanctioned the departure of Amad Traore to Queen's Park Rangers. Santos, 28, has a reputation as an attacking fullback and has made 22 senior appearances for Brazil national team. He has experience of playing in the Champions League and has been part of trophy-winning teams for both club and country. So I can say we'll make sure we bring you all the news in the transfer market. But like I told you yesterday, there's a big one tomorrow and also on Thursday as we prepare for the transfer market to end. And it's all kinds of breaking news will be here. So long as the news drops in or filters in, we'll make sure we'll bring you all the news in the transfer market. Amorim of Juventus is said to be joining Paris Saint-Germain. That is also in the rumor mill. And also Kaka also says that he stays at Real Madrid. There's no move for Kaka out of the Santiago Bernabeu at the end of the transfer market. He says he's going to stay at Chelsea despite all those links to Arsenal and Tottenham. Also, remember you can join us on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/sports.extra.dh. With all your comments, your questions, and also check out the latest transfer news on that particular page. My name is Nuti Fafata. We'll be back tomorrow morning. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Leave nothing to chance. For life, education, end-of-service benefits, and pension plans, make it Glyco Life.
Glyco, official insurers of TV3.